Yo, I'm Bloodmoon, aka Mega Blitz. In today's video, where we're looking at one of my favorite control decks to play in the current Pokemon meta, and that's going to be Luxray Ex Control. I've been playing this deck quite a bit lately and have gone on quite a tear on the ranked ladder with this deck, so I really wanted to share this deck list with you guys and really just showcase how incredible this deck can be. So let's jump right in to that deck list. Already here at that deck list with the star of the show, Luxray EX, a stage 2 310 HP lightning type Pokemon with its first attack being Piercing Gaze for double colorless energy, 120 damage. Your opponent reveals their hand and then you discard a card you find there. Can literally be any card that you find there, which is pretty cool because you can discard things like Boss's Orders, different Pokemon, even energies if you want to. Its second attack with that Volt Strike for double lightning energy, 250 damage. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. So usually we're using that Piercing Gaze attack most of the time for that control element, but that Volt Strike attack can be helpful in a pinch when you need to just close out a game, take two prizes, and just take a knockout with something that has 250 HP or less. Looking at some of the other cards in the deck here, we are playing that Pidgeot EX Quick Search Package. Once during your turn, search your deck for a card, put it into your hand. Can't use more than one Quick Search. Blustering Wind, pretty decent attack in a pinch as well. Double colorless, 120 damage, just card a Stadium in play, especially because we use a lot of double turbo energies in the deck. Being able to attack with that Blustering Wind in a pinch can be pretty helpful. We're also playing one copy of Fezandipiti EX. We have the Luxray V in here for that Fang Snipe attack, 30 damage for double colorless. Your opponent reveals their hand, discard a trainer card you find there. So kind of more limited to what you can discard, but on a basic Pokemon, pretty solid being able to just discard that trainer card, discard the Arven or the Iono or the boss that they might have in their hand, or potentially even like Rare Candy or things like that. We also have the Wellspring Ogerpon EX for that Sob attack here. It does have that Terra ability being able to prevent damage if it's on the bench, and then Sob for 20 damage for one colorless during your opponent's next turn. Defending Pokemon can't retreat, so we can kind of have that block lax type element going on if we can Sob block them with the Ogerpon. We do have Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX to kind of close out the games if we need to by taking our prize cards, all 6 of them, being able to kind of penny loop and pick up our Bloodmoon Ursaluna and attack with it repeatedly thanks to its ability. Season skill Bloodmoon used by this Pokemon costs a colorless less for each prize card your opponent has taken. For 5 colorless, 240 damage. So if I've taken 5 prize cards, we're attacking for free. So pretty helpful to be able to kind of loop that a bunch of times. We do have one copy of Rotom V, one Lumineon V as well for Instant Charge and Luminous Sign. And then as well here, we have 4 Arven, 2 Penny, 1 Cyllene, Airy, 1 Iono, 1 Boss, 1 Giacomo, 1 copy of Thornton, which is a pretty interesting card. Don't see it get played too often, but more often lately, thank you to decks like Charizard, has been playing it quite a bit. Choose a base Pokemon in your discard pile, switch it in with one of your base Pokemon in play. Any attached cards, damage counter, special conditions, turns in play, and any other effects remain on the new Pokemon. So we're able to kind of take our Rotom if it's damaged, Thornton, swap it out with a Shinx, Rare Candy into Luxray, attach an energy, and attack, which can be pretty helpful in a pinch, and opens up some pretty neat plays as well. We do play Roseanne's backup, being able to choose one or more of all 4 of these options, being able to shuffle a Pokemon, a tool, a Stadium, and an energy card right back into the deck, which can be pretty nice, especially because our A-Spec being near upper energy, we're able to put that back into the deck, which is pretty nice as well. 6 Machinations, Misfortune Sisters, 4 Rare Candy, 3 Nest Ball, 3 Ultra Ball, 2 Buddy-Buddy Poffin, 2 Palpad, 2 Counter Catcher, 1 Lost Vacuum, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, 1 Rescue Board, 1 Tackling Machine De-Evolution, to be able to just de-evolve and kind of force our opponent to birth through Rare Candies and things like that. 4 Sealstone, Defiance Band, 1 copy of Handheld Fan, 1 Lost City, 4 Double Turbo, 1 Mist Energy, and then like I said, that A-Spec being that Neo Upper Energy, which does say as long as the card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides normal type energy. If this card is attached to a Stage 2 type Pokemon, this card provides every type of energy, but only can provide 2 at a time. So being able to put it on Pokemon like our Wellspring, or sorry, our Luxray EX, we can put it on Wellspring Ogerpon, but not going to have much of an effect. But putting on Luxray EX and being able to have that Volt Strike option is pretty helpful. You can also play Hero's Cape in the deck as well, being able to put your Luxray to like 410 HP if you want to. But I've found more success with that Neo Upper Energy, being able to kind of open up different elements of attacks and things like that. So now let's jump right in to that gameplay. Already here at that Luxray EX gameplay here. At our coin flip, we do really like to go first a lot of the times, I feel like, in this deck. Being able to rare candy into our Pidgeot, rare candy into our Luxray EX and stuff like that early can be very beneficial, but also going second is pretty nice as well. Being able to have access to the Arven and things like that to be able to start attacking with our Luxray V or something else quickly can be helpful. We're going to actually start with our Luxray V in the active spot here, and we are going first. Our opponent going to flip over the Iron Hands EX, maybe playing against Miraidon or something. We're just going to have to see. We're going to bench that Rotom here. We're going to attach our Forest Sealstone. We're going to use that Star Alchemy here. Maybe hunting down something like Buddy-Buddy Poffin to really get set up quickly so we can get a Pidgey and a Shinx. And we do only have one Pidgey and one Shinx to be able to grab. So, going to grab both those. Instant Charge, going to draw 3 cards and pass turn in true control style, if it were. I've played a lot of Snorlax Stall, and Instant Charge is a thing we do quite often. Our opponent going to Buddy-Buddy Poffin here for 2 Comfey. This we are playing his Lost Zone box. Going to be able to switch out of that Iron Hands EX into a Comfey. Rip that Flower Selecting here. 1 to the hand, 1 to the Lost Zone. Attach, retreat here. Going for another Flower Selecting. 1 to the hand, 1 to the Lost Zone. Going to put him at 2 cards in the Lost Zone here. Colressing Experiment top 5. 3 to the hand, 2 to the Lost Zone. Putting him at 4 cards here in the Lost Zone. If they can find our way into another switch effect and that Cramorant, they can spit instantly for 110 potentially this turn, which is exactly what you really want to do in a Lost Box deck going second, is to try to turbo as quickly as you can to 7 to be able to Mirage Gate early, or at least get to 4 so you can spit innocently for 110. Our opponent here going to discard that Water Energy and that Manaphy to their Lost Zone here. Gonna get that Cramorant, but no switch effect. Just gonna pass back to us here. We're gonna grab that. We're gonna get the Arven off the top of the deck here. We're not gonna grab that Arven. I guess you do grab it off the top of the deck. But regardless, we're gonna play the Arven nonetheless here. We're gonna look searching out for that Ultra Ball and that Rescue Board potentially here. Ultra Ball coming down to discard the Defiance Band and potentially even maybe the Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, because we can always put it back in the deck potentially. But we're actually going to discard the Nest Ball here. Don't want to leak that we have that card going on here. We do have 2 rare candies in our hand. So rare candy into that Pidgeot EX here. Maybe looking for a Fang Snipe this turn if I can find myself into that double turbo. But with that quick search ability, we can do just that. Gonna be able to attach that double turbo energy to the active Luxray V here. Fang Snipe for only 10 damage, but we're going to take a look at that hand and be able to discard some cards here. Of course, we're going to discard that Mirage Gate. Mirage Gate being one of the most important cards in any Lost Box deck, so I'm going to get 1 of those out of here. And we did see they have a second one in hand as well. So if we can Fang Snipe again next turn before they can play that Mirage Gate, we're looking at discarding 2 Mirage Gates already and leaving our opponent with potentially only 2 left, assuming they didn't prize any Mirage Gates. But Flower Selecting, switch card into another Comfey here, ripping for another Flower Selecting, trying to find into Colressing Experiment potentially, maybe to start putting some energies on something, maybe looking for Boss plus double Mirage Gate, can put energies on the Iron Hands, and then amp you very much on the Shinx to take 2 prize cards. We're just going to have to see. Now, one of the things about Luxray Control that I really like is it plays very similar to Pidgeot Control, but you have the element of being able to shred the hand a little bit easier than Pidgeot Control, because Pidgeot Control only has that Luxray V to really shred the hand, as opposed to Luxray EX Control, where you do have that piercing gaze attack, being able to just discard any card out of the hand, and having not only a big body in the way as well is pretty helpful. So, gonna have to see what our opponent's cooking up here in the rest of the turn. Got a Lost Vacuum coming down. Gonna get rid of that Night Stretcher to be able to remove their own Rescue Board here. Trying to turbo to as many as they can. Gonna go to 8 in the Lost Zone here. Mirage Gate coming out. Probably eyeing up to put them on that Iron Hands EX. We're just gonna have to see here. We're gonna see that Lightning Energy and a Metal Energy as well to the Iron Hands EX, which tells me you're probably playing Pikachu EX in this deck as well, if you have that Metal Energy in there. Gonna spit instantly for 110 into our Luxray V here. And the crappy part is about this is they're going to be able to spit instantly again next turn into the Luxray and take 2 prize cards. We're going to have to see what we're cooking up on our turn here. Quick search coming out, looking to probably grab something a little bit more particular. We're going to grab that Luxray EX. You're going to be able to rare candy into the Luxray EX as well. We're going to also be able to have access to a couple things going forward. We're going to have access to that Lost City, which can be pretty helpful in this Lost Zone box matchup. Being able to potentially take a knockout on the Iron Hands, put it in the Lost Zone or something like that can be pretty helpful. So we're going to Fang Snipe here. We're going to get rid of that Super Rod out of the hand. Unfortunately, we are going to let our Luxray V go down, but the plus side of that is now our counter catchers are online, and on top of that, our Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX is getting powered up as the game progresses. So gonna use that Hisuian Heavy Ball on their side here. Gonna just fail it, it looks like. Gonna shuffle up their prize cards, put them back. Our opponent not really having too much to do. Getting rid of that Super Rod does feel pretty impactful. Was really hoping to get rid of the Mirage Gate, but Super Rod is a good choice as well. Spit instantly coming down, taking 2 prize cards, putting us at a 6-4 split, unfortunately, here. But we're going to have access to that quick search again. Going to be able to put some energies onto our Luxray EX. Looking to grab that Neo Upper Energy potentially here to put on the Luxray EX, so then we can take a knockout on that Cramorant, because we are going to hit for weakness, but even if we didn't, 100 damage or 120 will do just fine. Put the Lost City down so we don't have to deal with that ever again. With that Cramorant existing, going to bench the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, play the Lost City so we don't have to deal with Cramorant like I'd said, and then attach the Rescue Board to that Luxray EX as well. Buddy-Buddy Poffin just to fail it real quick. Then we're going to get that Mirage Gate out of the hand here. That leaves them with only 1 Mirage Gate left. We have discarded 2 from their hand, and they've already used 1 on that Iron Hands EX. And the nice part is, too, since we rare candied into our Luxray EX, the Ampy very much coming on our Shinx potentially isn't an option for them anymore. So if they want to amp you very much into something, they're going to have to do it to the Pidgeot EX, but there might just be arm pressing into that Pidgeot just to take the 2 prize cards and shut off our quick search ability here. Now, we do have a pretty okay hand. We do have Penny, which can be very helpful in a lot of decks, especially with control. Penny is one of your most just versatile? I don't know. One of your most impactful cards in the game. Penny being able to pick up any damaged Pokemon, things like your Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, so you can Penny Loop it, your Luxray EX if it gets damaged, your Pidgeot if they can't take a knockout on it, getting rid of your liabilities as well, like Rotom V, Lumineon V, and things like that, so you don't have to worry about them being just on your bench, just kind of sitting as free prize cards for your opponent. So our opponent here going to be able to flower selecting, concealed cards, going to Super Rod, put some stuff back in the deck. Going to put 3 energies back in the deck here, 2 grass and 1 water here. And we're looking at our opponent not really going to have too much left to do, which is pretty good for us. We've been able to kind of keep them in check and have that control element really set up here. Pidgeot EX, we're looking to maybe grab an Arven here. The Arven going to come out as well. Be able to grab us some extra pieces here. We're looking at maybe a Night Stretcher, maybe Handheld Fan, and maybe even Counter Catcher. But the nice part about this as well is if we decide to grab Counter Catcher, we can actually take a knockout on the Radiant Greninja. But I decided to grab Hisuian Heavy Ball here, and the reason for that is I end up grabbing the Fezandipiti EX because our opponent is going to eventually take some prize cards. Now, I could have also grabbed Pidgey in that moment as well to set up another Pidgeot EX, but I felt like it wasn't really necessary to do so, so I attached the Handheld Fan to the Pidgeot EX. If they try to amp it, I can at least move some energies around. We're going to Piercing Gaze, get rid of that Lost Vacuum so they can't remove my Lost City, which is putting all their stuff into the Lost Zone, and we're kind of hoping they would bench something like Sableye so I could just Counter Catcher or boss it up, take the knockout, shred something from the hand, and then put it into the Lost Zone and not have to worry about that. And we are holding on to our 1 copy of Mist Energy for that Sableye that is potentially coming down as well at some point in this game here. But a couple flower selectings. Another Comfey coming down for our opponent. They did put the Pikachu EX in the Lost Zone as well, if you'd seen there, which is kind of interesting because it requires them to discard energy. And since we've discarded their Mirage Gate and Super Rod, or 2 Mirage Gates in their Super Rod, it can be actually quite difficult for them to get to the Pikachu. So relying more on your Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, your Sableye, your Iron Hands, or your Cramorant is going to be kind of the route they want to go going forward. And since we do take prize cards in this deck, their Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX eventually will be able to hit for 240 damage more than likely, because Luxray Control, as yes, it is a control deck, it wins the game by either A, locking your opponent out of the game, or B, taking all 6 prize cards to win. It kind of all just depends on what matchup and kind of what kind of develops over time. But Arm Press coming out for our opponent on to our Pidgeot EX with the help of that Prime Catcher here. We're going to move that Lightning Energy to the Radiant Energy. They're going to take 2 prize cards, unfortunately, here. But we're going to be able to promote our Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX if we want to. And we can attach the Mist Energy, take a knockout on that Iron Hands here, which is exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to penny and pick up our Rotom V, because I don't want them to be able to go, okay, you took a knockout, boss up your Rotom, punch with Bloodmoon Ursaluna, and win the game. So we got to play a little safer here. Bloodmoon Ursaluna hitting that Blood Moon, taking 2 prize cards, putting us at a 2-2 split here. But the unfortunate part is we don't have a penny in our hand anymore. So what we could do, and we didn't want to bench that Fezandipiti EX either, because in the same boat, if they just go boss, attach, take 2 prize cards, they can win the game just like that. So our potential options are try to find our way into a penny or attach the energy to the Blood Moon and retreat here. So we're just going to have to see. We do get ourselves into Misfortune Sisters and Lumineon V, however, which can be kind of helpful. But Lumineon V still being a liability to that Blood Moon if they have boss's orders. They're going to switch out the Blood Moon, flower selecting, attach, retreat, or sorry, switch card out of the Blood Moon, hit for 240 damage, and then going to be able to put themselves in a position where they could potentially win here if they can retreat and go back into the Blood Moon. So I have to commit to my Lumineon V here, sadly. And we're looking to hunt down that penny. So I can pick up the penny here, or pick up the Bloodmoon Ursaluna with that penny. And we're going to be able to either bench the Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX or attach the Mist Energy to Lumineon V. I'm going to bench the Blood Moon, attach the Mist, Piercing Gauge for 120 here. And we're going to discard the Pal Pad here. And the reason I discard Pal Pad is because it allows them to not be able to put things like Roxanne or anything like that back into the deck. I don't care if they play Colress or Pokestop. It can't find them the boss's orders. And our opponent knows that we have the game right there, being able to retreat out of that Luxray EX or use that Volt Strike attack for 250 because we had that near upper energy on the Luxray EX to take their last 2 prize cards we needed on their Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX. So now let's jump right in to that outro. Alright, it's going to do it for today's video. If you guys want to play the deck list that I played in today's video, I'll make sure to put it in the description below, ready for copy paste into TCG Live. And while you're down there, definitely make sure to leave a like, smash the subscribe button, because it really helps me out a ton, especially because a lot of my viewers say they're actually not subscribed. So you might be thinking you're subscribed to the channel because it pops up in your homepage feed and it's your recommended videos, but just scroll down and make sure to check that subscribe button for me. And while you're down there, make sure to follow me on Twitter, join the Mega Blitz Discord, and if you want to be like these cool 8 people here, you can also become a member as well, getting exclusive emos, photo and status updates, and priority reply to comments. Alrighty guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace!